Hello friends, this is Cara-Renee with B.Reborn Art and Healing, coming to you with another share of a product that I got from Globleland. I had shared in the unboxing that they had sent me a bunch of dies that I requested. One of the dies was this music die. Isn't it amazing? Absolutely amazing. Very intricate. I've been playing with it a lot and having a really hard time finding a way to use it in a journal. So I've come up with a solution. So and then there were other things. I think I got some vellum envelopes as well. I'll be creating with those. And I'm done after this video. I won't be necessarily specifically shouting them out, but I will let you know when I'm using those envelopes so that you guys can go check them out. So what I decided to do is to go ahead and do a Distress Oxide inked background. So I just was playing around with this off camera. I wanted some kind of blue tones, a little bit of green kind of colors, and so we're going to make another one just so I can show you that part as well since we're here. But then when we're done, I'll figure out which one I like best, and then that's the one we'll use for the project. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut this die. Oh, I got a little black piece in it. I need to get another piece of black cardstock. So I was playing around with, sorry, let me poke that out. It's bothering me now. I played around with cutting this out of black cardstock and then using art glitter glue to glue it down because that will hold solid. But we're doing in my prototype, I did the die cut first, and then I did watercolor, and it did not work because that water just went underneath the edges of the adhesive between the die and the paper. So I decided to go ahead and do the background first, use the art glitter glue to glue this on, and then we're going to make kind of a side tuck out of it. The die is a little bit too wide for anything I would use in a journal, so it is from point to point. It is, let's see, let me get down here. I'm looking at the widest point. It is 5.5 inches. The widest that my pages are is 5 1/4. So this would be great for a card, don't get me wrong, but I'm wanting to use it for a journal. So we're going to do that, and I think in my prototype I just cut off some of the stuff off of one of the sides. I can't remember which side off the top of my head, but that's what we're going to do. So let's go ahead and start with doing the Distress Oxide background. So I did notice that this piece of watercolor paper is just a little bit smaller than the card that I worked on, but we will work around that. It's not a big deal. I believe that this is Arches watercolor, but it's the 90 pounds, so it's quite affordable and a lot thinner for this purpose. So I'm going to go ahead and start. I've got faded jeans, peacock feathers, and fossilized amber. We're going to start with fossilized amber, and we're going to do one color at a time and dry in between. All the links to Globleland will be below, and they're offering a 10% off coupon code, which I will put in the video description so you guys can reference that easily. I'm just going to move my paper so I don't get it all wet. And we're just going to kind of do the dip. And I'm doing it on the more porous side of the watercolor paper. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's different than this side. So I'm putting it on that side. So I'm just going to kind of dip. And we're probably going to get a different result than the other one, which is fine. Ooh, we're not getting much at all. Let me try that again. We're getting really speckly bits, and I don't know. There we go. I probably just didn't have enough water. So I'm going to actually spray the paper a little bit too, just to kind of get that to move a little bit. Put that back down on my surface and just get as much. I want the speckles, but I don't want it all to be speckles. So that is much, much better. So I'm going to go ahead and take a moment and dry this so we can go on to the next color. I'll be right back. Okay, I think this is good enough to move on. Really, really, really cool. I tried it on a 140-pound watercolor paper, and that was okay too, but I think this is going to be sufficient for our purposes because I probably will back it if I use it as a journal card or something. I'll probably back it, but I might even back it if I make it a tuck because it's sort of thinnish. It's more like maybe a 20-30 pound paper, so it's not very thick at all. So next we're going to go in with our peacock feathers. So same process. Just going to get plenty of ink out there. Move that so I don't spray it. I'm just going to get this nice and wet. There we go. Oh, I'm loving this. Loving this. Wow. Just trying to, I don't mind some white bits, but there we go. I love that. So again, we're going to go ahead and dry. I do apologize, lots of drying time in this process. I'll be right back. Okay, so we are ready for our last color. And I don't know if, in case you guys don't know how the Distress Oxide inks work, you can actually layer, even colors that are not friends on the color wheel. So a color that is across from another color on the color wheel, I call them, they're not color friends. Color friends are the ones right by them in the same family. So, but with the oxides, you can actually do that. I'm not going to do that today, but because I'm just not in a risky kind of mood, I am still navigating slowly through my life. I won't continue to bring that up, but I'm still in that space. So just prepping some content for the channel before I go out of town. So I did decide, so what I got with this color combination is I got kind of this grayish color, and I didn't really care for that. So I'm going to try a different kind of blue, and again, we can pick which one we actually want to use on the project. So I'm going to try the chipped sapphire instead and see what we get. I'm not sure if I'm going to like it, but we'll find out. Another spritz of water. It's a different color. It's got more of a purple tone, I think. I don't know if I'm going to like this, but we'll see. Okay. Oh, that's vibrant. Oh, wow. Feels like it's not quite, but we're still getting that color, but I love what it's doing to some of that green. So I'm going to just kind of sop this up as best I can. And I love that. It's pushing back some of that green kind of turned, probably because it's mixed with the yellow. This peacock feathers changed color a little bit, but that's okay. So I'm going to dry one more time. And actually, before we do that, let me spray this just a bit and see if we can get some more oxidization. There we go. So I'm going to leave that set for a minute, and I'm going to dry it again, and then I'll be back for the last step. Okay. I think we're good to move on to the next step. This is mostly dry. I want it to be very, very dry before I glue the die cut on top of it. So I'm going to set it aside for a moment, and I'm going to get this out of my way. And I got a piece of black cardstock, and that's what we're going to do our die cut on. So my machine is over here to my left, so you won't be able to see it. But I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to move it as close as I can. You guys, again, let me move my camera. Maybe you can. Nope. Well, you can kind of see it off to the side there. Not very helpful. There we go. I have to turn my camera all manually, so I don't have any kind of zoom or any of that feature. So I've got all of my plates. I've got the Sizzix switch, which I actually absolutely adore. So what I'm going to do is go ahead, and I've already know that my sandwich is obviously the base plate, and then this extra plate, which is for cutting other things. It seems to be working well for these dies. And then one plate, and then my paper, and then my die, where did I set it? There it is. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and just set that. I like to set it kind of in the middle-ish. Yeah, I'm going to set it in the middle just because I feel like I have better success than when dies are towards the edges, the front edge or the back edge of the deal here. So let's go ahead and just slide this through. Hold on. Go ahead and stick it in the machine here. Awesome machine, guys. If you can swing it, it is a lifesaver. You can see all the dies I used on it from Globleland. So, and I do run it, as I mentioned in my other Globleland video, I did run my dies through twice just to make sure that everything is cut very, very well. So I'm doing that here as well. I'm going to move this out of my way so that we can pick this thing apart. It's very fiddly, as were the medallion dies that I showed you in the other video. It's pretty persnickety, but it's well worth the work. So I'm just going to move that out of the way. I'm going to move my camera back down and get in frame here. Not that far, Cara-Renee. Goodness gracious. There we go. So get all this out of our way. This one comes pretty cut, you know, it's out of the die, like it just comes, you know, you get this kind of feature. Just fine. It's perfect. So I'm going to move all of this stuff. I'm just going to push this onto the garbage so that it doesn't end up on the floor, as the studio floor already needs to be swept. I am hoping to do a craft room tour. So as I mentioned in the other video, I just take the time here to poke out as many of these bits as I can. So I'm going to speed through this process so that we can get to the other side of this tediousness. I do usually have some bits that I have to still pick out after I get the paper out of the die, but this one's definitely not as fiddly as the medallion ones were. Those were a little bit over the top for me in terms of fiddliness, but they're beautiful, and again, well worth it in my opinion. So let's see if we can push this baby out and have a play. The dies are very, very good quality, you guys. I am super happy with the detail and the definition and the way they're cutting. I believe I did reach out to Globleland about that die that we had trouble on video with, that wouldn't cut through the paper even though I had run it through twice, and they said that they would let their development team know because that's unusual. So I was glad to hear that, and they were grateful that I shared that with you guys and that I shared that with them. So this is the way it goes. I'm just checking to see if I've got any more pieces that need to come out. Looks like a few little, nope, not there. So this is gorgeous. This is also for the Eclectic Journal, guys. So again, I'll tell my friend. Unfortunately, she can't watch any of my videos right now because I really want to get this journal done, and I'm really enjoying it. So there's our die. So I'm going to bring this over, and I'm touching it with the back of my hand. That's kind of how you test watercolor, because you can touch it with the palm and you'll get a different temperature than if you put your back of your hand on it. So this is nice and dry. I'm just kind of bending it a little bit here. And I'm going to bring the other one over and try to decide which one I want. I feel like I want, but I love this one because it's got less yellow. But I love this one because of the way I've got some purple in it. I'm going to use this one, the lightweight one. So this is the tricky part, you guys. I'm going to grab that mat and bring it back over, and I'm just going to put some art glitter glue on my mat here. And I'm going to get my bigger bottle just so I'm not fussing with this too much. I don't usually get the big bottle out, but I do have it for such a time as this. My camera is all off. There we go. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Life. So there we go. No, life is beautiful, you guys. It's all perspective. Oh boy. We're plugged up. We are plugged up. This is really not a big enough pin to really secure that opening. But I don't use this very often either. There we go. So I'm just going to put a bunch. I'm going to kind of spread it out. I want lots and lots of glue. And what we're going to do is lay that die down here in the glue. In fact, no, I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to brayer it out or brush it out because, yeah, there we go. That should be good. Hopefully I got it all. So I'm going to go ahead and put this die, you know, obviously the back side down, and I'm just going to, actually what I'm going to do is I have another mat like this white one in my drawer here. I'm going to grab it and I'm going to put it on top with the, not the sticky side down, and I'm just going to so I can kind of rub this and get it all, uh-oh, yeah, is that what I did? Yeah. Oh, I'm not myself right now, you guys. Nothing is flowing very, very easily or very naturally. Okay, so now I can pull that off. We got lots of glue. Art glitter glue does dry. I've got some black off of that. I must have pulled some of the paper up. So now I'm going to just carefully pull this off, and I'm hoping that that wasn't too much glue. We're going to have trouble with this paper now. Oh no. Shoot. Yep, it's pulling the paper up. Doggone it. Okay. So we have got to go back to the drawing board. So I'm going to cut one more of these and we're going to try this differently. I am not a quitter. It might be that I'm putting it on here now that I think of it, because this is not, it's not really made for this. So wow, look at the mess I made. I will deal with that later. So let me cut one more of these dies and I will be right back. Hello friends. Apparently my camera shut off while I was in the midst of going through this process. So I was able to cut the die out of another piece of black paper, and I don't know where it cut off, so if I'm being repetitive, I apologize. And then what I did is I used my art glitter glue on the back of all these intricate pieces, and it worked really, really well. And then the last thing we did is we just trimmed off things to make it straight and nice and even. So I love it. It was a labor of love for sure. It's a little bit finicky and fussy for me, but that is not to say that these dies are not incredible, because they are. This is an incredible die cut. I just have to figure out, how do other people adhere this with all those intricate parts? How do you get glue on those? I'm not that expert at it. So I apologize for the lost footage, but here's what we have, and I will see you in the next video. Again, all the links will be below in the description box. Take care. Bye-bye.